Welcome to the show, BlazeTV contributors Matthew Marsden, of course, actor and producer extraordinaire. You can find him on YouTube at Matthew D. Marsden. Make sure that you subscribe, along with Eric July, BlazeTV contributor and founder of Rippaverse Comics, which you should go check out. Please. Rippaverse.com. I mean, unless you like gays in your comics, and then don't check it out, I guess.
Well, we don't have any gays, that's for sure.
If you have bad taste in comics, definitely don't go to Rippaverse.com. If you have good taste in comics, go there. Is that good? That's an appropriate
pitch.
plug.
I'm going to have to adopt that. I like that.
Okay, yeah. You won't find the gays there.
That's the new tag.
That's the new
You
tag.
won't find the gays there. It's fine. I'll just take like a 10% commission.
I got
I'm
you.
kidding.
I got you.
So I'm glad that you guys are here. You know, there's something that here in Texas, I have, up until this last legislative session for the state, I had been increasingly frustrated with this particular state on this particular topic. But now it appears we may not need to be frustrated at all, because federally, it may be taken care of with Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, who announced an action plan banning Chinese nationals and other foreign adversaries from buying American farmland. Here's some of that.
With this announcement today, we are taking this purpose and our American farmland back. American agriculture is not just about feeding our families, but about protecting our nation and standing up to foreign adversaries who are buying our farmland, stealing our research, and creating dangerous vulnerabilities in the very systems that sustain us. In coordination with the White House, the Departments of Treasury, Defense, Homeland Security, and Justice, as well as state governors, state agriculture commissioners, local, tribal, and territorial governments, today we announced the USDA's National Farm Security Action Plan. This plan includes 7 key action items. The most important, the first of the 7, is securing and protecting American farmland ownership, actively engaging at every level of government to take swift legislative and executive action to ban the purchase of American farmland by Chinese nationals and other foreign adversaries.
Now, for me, it's kind of a given. Like, I look at that and I'm like, why are we allowing all of these foreign adversaries to buy up any land? I mean, farmland, houses, developments, I don't care what it is. I think it's kind of crazy that we allow that to begin with. But particularly with farmland, from what I have seen in Texas, of course, the country is very big. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. So I don't know the specifics of all of the other states, but what I can tell you is the farmland that the Chinese nationals were buying up, at least here in the state of Texas, were peculiarly near military bases. And looking at the geography of it was very, very scary. Apparently, that's not just in Texas. That is across the country. I want to play a clip of Pete Hegseth, Department of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, talking about how this plan, again, to me, no brainer. I get it immediately. But in case people are like, I don't understand what the relevance is, he talks about how it relates to national security directly. Watch.
It's about America first, but it's also just the application of common sense. As someone who's charged with leading the Defense Department, I want to know who owns the land around our bases and strategic bases, and getting an understanding of why foreign entities, foreign companies, foreign individuals might be buying up land around those bases. That's something I should be paying attention to on behalf of the American people, on behalf of my department, and on behalf of the president. It's common sense. And so food security, just like energy resilience, just like where we get our water, that's all national security, especially in a contingency. So we would be asleep at the wheel if we were not fully a party to an effort like this to ensure that our nation had the food supply it needs. But specifically, our troops have what they need on our bases, so that in those moments you can rely on us here in the United States to provide that security. So no longer can foreign adversaries assume we're not watching.
So over 227,000 acres of farmland are owned by Chinese investors. There's the graph right there. This is across 14 different states. Washington State, conveniently over by Fort Lewis, California, Fort Irwin, and Camp Pendleton. There is land owned Arizona, Yuma, Utah Hill Air Force Base, and let's see, North Dakota, Texas. Of course, I mentioned Fort Cavazos and Camp Bullis. There's Missouri, Ohio. Now that one there's a lot of alleged UFO crash sites and secret special vehicle testing at that particular base. What could possibly go wrong with the China CCP parking right next to that base and, then bringing up windmills? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. That actually happened here in Texas, Maine, Virginia, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii. The list goes on. But the point is, this is really bad freaking news. This is a national security issue. And again, I bring up the windmills. That's literally what's happening in the state of Texas. They are buying land next to very sensitive military bases, and they are putting windmills up that are very, very tall and can actually conveniently see over the fence of what's going on. But we're supposed to believe it. China just cares about energy, green energy. Duh.
We're just an absolute joke.
It really
honestly,
is.
That's what it is at the end of the day. You can't tell me, we've said this over and over about our politicians, the fact that they've allowed Chinese nationals, which basically, when you're talking about Chinese companies, it's the CCP.
Yes, exactly.
Right, let's be honest. We all know
no separation. There's no separation.
Of course. Listen,
if they're that big to be able to buy land in another country, they are 1,000% the CCP is in on it.
Yes.
That's not a secret.
Yeah. It's absurd. Can you imagine doing it the other way around? Do you think that China would just allow an American company to go over and buy land around a military base? Are you out of your mind?
Right.
Look, the politicians in this country that allowed this are treasonous. I am so over all this BS right now. I'm so over with people being so myopic and so selfish that what they're doing is to line their own pockets. They're turning their head the other way to a national security threat that could kill millions of people at the end of the day. And at the minimum, it's going to compromise our military, which, by the way, and Eric, you love about this, you talk about spending all the time. What's the point in putting all this money into secret equipment if they're spying on it? Or what's the point in having nuclear submarines with actual circuit boards that come from China? And we know this, it's all throughout our military. We are so compromised, and it's crazy to me that we are turning around right now and going, China, pretty much our only major enemy, let's face it, they're our only major enemy, is buying land all around military bases. Oh, and by the way, we're going to trans your kids. And oh, by the way, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We've let it go so far. This is insane. When you see the Trump administration rolling it back, you're like, how did we ever get here?
Yeah, well, and Eric, I want to get your thoughts too. You're totally right, Matt. But so one of the other, Brooke Rollins mentions 7 critical areas. One of them is enhancing agricultural supply chain resilience. And the thing that I think is so insane to me here is, guys, we're talking about Chinese nationals being caught at the border with pathogens that could affect our crops, to a detrimental effect. And you guys don't, hello, again, this is a no-brainer to me. Is they are owning 227,000 acres of farmland, and they have every intention of bringing in pathogens and bacteria. Whatever the hell, is that the proper name? Pathogens? I don't know. All I know is that they are trying to, biological agents and biochemicals that they are bringing into this country to ruin our crops, our food supply, to ruin us as a nation, because they are always 10 steps ahead of us and we're asleep at the wheel. And thankfully, it looks like in this instance, that won't be happening anymore under the Trump administration. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.